What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. I'm here. I'm here, y'all. I made it. I had some running around to do this morning. Good morning, T. I had some running around to do this morning, and I was rushing around, but I made it. I made it over here. We getting started a little bit late. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we are not going to waste any time. We're going to get straight into the things because why? Because it's time for us to talk about the things that are Black excellence, Black history, current events, some little bit of celebrity gossip. That's what we do over here. So we're going to start here because this is the place I'm living in, child. It's the seven dwarves of menopause. Itchy, bitchy, sweaty, sleepy, bloated, forgetful, and psycho. I feel like I'm suffering from all these things. Now, I know I'm not the only one out here going through it, but yeah, growing up, and the elders would talk about the hot flashes. That's all I remember. I remember hot flashes, hot flashes, hot flashes. And it didn't seem like such a big deal then, but I'm here to tell you, I guess for every person it's different. The hot flashes are one miserable mother effer. I'm gonna say that. You said you too, child. Me too, child. Listen, I feel like the ladies were gatekeeping though, T. I feel like they was gatekeeping. I feel uh like I said, I heard about hot flashes, but I don't feel like we really um got a chance to talk about some of the other things that we go through in this menopausal, perimenopausal stage of life. I'm full on. I'm full on menopausal. Night sweats kicking your ass. Um I feel like for me, the night sweats have been a come and go situation. And yeah, I have a little teeny fan by my bed multiple times throughout the night. I have to throw everything off of me, covers and all. And then I'm right back under the covers. So nobody told us really about the night sweats. And I feel like it's a taboo conversation because as women, our our value is based on being sexy and all of that kind of stuff. Hot flashes are not sexy, neither are not night sweats. Um, and if you got a partner, it's not something necessary. You don't want to be talking about all of those things necessarily. It's not sexy, but I feel like it's a conversation that we should be having at least with each other at this point in my life where I could give a damn about sexy. Some days I feel like sexy, and other days not so much. Um, no pressure over here to be to be sexy. So weird symptoms you don't know were signs of perimenopause, and instead of walking around with this I don't know what the hell is going on with me situation that a lot of us are in or have been in, I think it's more important to talk about it, and thank God somebody is putting out here for us to recognize it. Driving anxiety out of nowhere, I have experienced that, um, and I think a lot of times we just chalk it up to stress because it is a lot of times stress. We're going through um, a time in this country, in this world, where things are feeling like we're going backwards. I've been seeing like it's 100 degrees and everywhere right now, and I've seen traffic lights, traffic lights melting. I've seen, cars paint on the cars bubbling up, and at the same time, I see snow happening. All of these things are very stressful for us to deal with, and then when you're in a menopausal state, I feel like it's intensified by 1,000. You said what you say? You send Denny all the kids of perimenopause. Oh yeah, those TikTok videos. I love those videos where the men are like, if your wife is in menopause, yes. One thing I will say, and it's unfortunate, if you have a man that's understanding about what you're going through, then God bless you, because I feel like going through menopause and have someone pestering you about sex is annoying. Of at the very least, it's annoying. Not understanding what your body is going through. Good morning to go to Africa. Not understanding or caring what your body is going through, expecting you to, shout out to Erica De Niro, mattress made mule. You know what I mean? That's wife shit. So wife shit with menopause, on top of it, that anxiety can be I want to say life threatening. Sometimes you feel like you're about to have a damn heart attack. So, yeah, the people around you need to understand what's going on. And if your partner doesn't understand, he's probably, not that guy. Um, what was it? That was on Bell Collective when JJ and them was talking about how they need to hurry up and figure their mess out so they can get back to, the sex of it all. No sex in the champagne room. That shit's been shut down. So yeah, when you're when you're at a certain age, you know what I'm saying, and you're going through menopause, driving anxiety out of nowhere can definitely be a part of that. Frozen shoulder and joint pain. Have y'all experienced any of this? I'm a hairstylist, so I've had bursitis for many years, and there's many times when the weather changes or just during the season, I do get bursitis in my shoulder. But at this point, I know how to manage it. But there have been times where you get these weird pains, like in your joints and shoulders, hips, feet. My feet are. It's such a weird like situation when I get up and my feet need time to warm up before I can just run around at my regular pace. These are all signs of menopause. So, I think at a certain age, you should probably, get a doctor that specializes in these type of hormonal changes, because you'll be getting, prescribed prescriptions for something that, not necessarily even your issue. I have started taking vitamin D and fish oil, and it definitely has made a difference in my joints. And so maybe it's just that, like when you get to a certain age, your body stops producing, the way it used to as a young. Even with your skin, like when you're young, your skin sheds and sheds and sheds and sheds very fast. The older you get, the slower it sheds, um, and you get a buildup, and you have to do more exfoliating to help move things, get to that fresh skin. Um, oh, good morning, John Tony. I don't know how much you're gonna be comfortable with this first part of the conversation, but you need to stay here because it's really important for men to understand what their partner is going through during menopause and not being insensitive to what's happening and being selfish, because it's wild, what your body is going through. So, you get anxiety, you get joint pain, you get hives without any allergy. Um, there's a lot of itchiness that goes along with menopause. And so hives is one of them. Your skin goes through. I remember this was, I want to say about 7 years ago, and it's not so much as now as it was, but I used to, not cool, gotcha. I used to get rosacea out of nowhere. I went my whole life without having it. And then out the blue, I got rosacea. Thank God, like I said, not so much as I did before, but it can. And you get hot, and all of a sudden, my face is like burning, like red. Like, and people would be like, "Are you okay?" Like, yes, I'm fine. But sometimes, you would get this flare up. I think there's a lot of skin issues attached to menopause and perimenopause that, we don't haven't heard about, or don't know that that's a part of what's going on. Um, do you ease your way through it? I think, yeah, with understanding what's going on. I don't know. Ain't nobody came up with no solution for these damn hot flashes. Your ears are itchy. Um, for me, it was my shoulders that were itchy, and it's weird. You get these little like um feels like creepy crawly skin, I guess you could call it. It just feels like something under your skin that causes an itch. Again, something that nobody ever told me. like I said, all I ever heard about was some damn hot flashes. So every time you start seeing some of these things or feeling something out of the ordinary, um, not everything I think is equated to hot flash. I mean, equated to menopause, but there are a lot of things that your body goes through that you weren't experiencing before. Vertigo or feeling off balance. This one I did not recognize, and I do experience it sometimes. I know the first time I noticed it, I was about to do a live. I got in front of my ring light and I thought I was going to pass out. And I'm not somebody that has ever gone through that. Um, I don't know that it's vertigo necessarily, but it feels like vertigo where you have these spells where you are literally like, I'm dizzy, I need to sit down. Um, Even like I said, sitting in front of that ring light does something to me. Sometimes I have to turn that thing off, or like now I'm not on camera. But yeah, if I'm doing a live and I say that light is making me dizzy and I click out, that's what it is. And I'm like, what the hell? What the heck? And you might have a little glass of libations. I might have a little glass of wine, but ain't no sip of wine ever made me no damn dizzy. So, just things that you need to be aware of. Lump in your throat. I have not experienced a lump in my throat. I'm not sure what that feels like, but I'm definitely sure that it probably has interferes with your breathing regularly. So if you have a lump in your throat, oh, I should knock on wood. Thank God I haven't experienced that yet. But yeah, the list keeps getting longer. I don't see anything falling off this damn list. You said sisters get first person. I want to hear what your take is, Jatoni. Sisters get heart palpitations from too many. I knew better. I knew better. I knew better. See, this is the stuff right here, Jatoni, I'm talking about. This is the stuff right here. Take orgasms off your mindset right now. That's not what we're talking about. Okay? We're talking about y'all need to sit down and pay attention to what's happening over here. Unless you want to mess with somebody, Jatoni, that's dealing with driving anxiety, frozen shoulders, highs, and a little bit of vertigo, and might have a lump in their throat. You stepping in the danger zone. It's like stepping on what did they call it? Landmine. Jatoni, somebody smack his hand. It's too early. It says plantar fasciitis, and I feel like that's what happens with your feet when you have your feet take a minute to to get started. Internal tremors or buzzing, I have experienced that. It feels very weird. At one point I would get you are contributing to the conversation, Jatoni. Just make sure your contribution is with very thoughtfulness. Good morning, high vibe. Child, we over here talking about menopause and perimenopause. Internal buzzing is very weird. I have, and knock wood, because it's funny, these things will come and go and come and go. I have experienced like a whistling when I'm breathing, and only hear it like when I'm laying on my pillow. So when you lay down to go to sleep, you hear this whistling in your head that's annoying and obviously impairs your sleep. Restless legs at night. I'm sure I felt that. I'm sure I felt that. And it just, makes it hard for you to be comfortable. Heart palpitations, not equated to anything that Jatoni was over here saying. Yes, I knew it was coming, T. That's why I'm telling y'all, Jatoni, the army is here. What is brain zaps? Have you not experienced it? I don't think I've experienced brain zaps, but I think it's probably any little unusual noises and things that you hear, buzzing that you hear, in your head. Itchy ears. T, you said you feel itchy ears. That's definitely on the list. Phantom smells. I don't know that phantom smells has anything for me to do with menopause or perimenopause, because I'm one of those people that has always, like my whole life, walked around going, what does that smell? What does that smell? So yeah, just a list of things. Like I said, is really important when you're going through this. We laughing, but it ain't funny. There's nothing funny about not being able to sleep at night because you're so hot that you can't, you busting out in sweats and you have restless legs. That's horrible. Um, yeah, you can't sleep. And I feel like all of these things like deal with, interfering with your sleep. When you're not getting good rest, then you're not good when you get up. And then, if you're able to take a quick nap in the middle of the day, I don't know, that kind of, for me, that's an interference. I don't really like to be laying down taking a nap in the middle of the day. You said I'm in menopause. It's the whole other level of BS. I am too, high vibe, but that's why I said the list ain't getting no shorter. And luckily, like, I'm very blessed, like, as somebody who doesn't have any other, situations like high blood pressure or, reasons for taking any medication. I'm not on any medication, prescribed by a doctor. Um, I'm just, up in my vitamin game. But these things are not like, oh my God, the way you can't sleep for me is a mess. Um, so yeah, y'all, good. Hot flashes are not the only thing. They're a miserable damn thing. That's for damn sure. We all walking around here with these portable fans and things. Um, thank God. Thank God we have that. You said some nights I just don't sleep. I could literally be up until sunrise. You drink lavender tea. I feel like I'm a tea drinker too. I need my coffee in the morning and then, throughout the day I drink tea, but I have like allergies. Um so I told you I wasn't going to cut the grass anymore. Thank God that problem has been solved. I got up the other day and I was like, I have to cut this grass. I hadn't found somebody yet. And I cut the grass, and halfway through the front yard, I ran out of gas. And just so happened, my neighbor, young boy from two doors down, he was walking down the street and he was like, I can finish, cutting the grass for you with my lawnmower if you want me to bring it down. And I was like, yes, please. So he came down, he cut the grass, and I was like, hey, boy, how much you charge me to cut this grass? So the grass situation has been solved. I'm gonna just pay the young man. He's probably out of school for, summer. I'm gonna pay him to come cut the grass. But the fact that I was out there yesterday had me, in a chokehold for real. I just, I took my allergy medicine, and yesterday, like I said, I feel like cutting that grass the day before really caught up with me. And so I was out of it all day yesterday. I did go to the gym. I didn't go this morning because, I was running around doing things. I feel like those are things that help. There's other kinds of teas, I think, that help you get to sleep. You say you're doing sleepy time teas. I do ginger and turmeric tea because of the inflammation from the allergies. And it's relaxing. I definitely am more in favor of herbal, and you're just more natural, like the foods you eat, more natural remedies for things rather than taking medicine all the time. You said you have a company on Facebook and two. Wait, you what? What did you write? You have a company on Facebook at 2 a.m. with other fellow au pair girls. So y'all be up on Facebook at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm a little bit past that phase, that 2 a.m. phase, but I am in a phase of, the hot flashes, they come and they go, and you keeps you up all night. Yes, ginger and turmeric is great for inflammation. And inflammation, like, is a big part of being in menopause. Like I said, your joints. For me, it's the allergy. So I'm constantly trying to keep my my glands and stuff from being inflamed. And I'm sure there's other things out there, the kind of foods you eat that have more estrogen, and you definitely have to research it. But I feel like if you change your eating habits, it's not going to cure anything, but I feel like it definitely will help you get through it. So yeah, menopause is definitely far more symptoms. I did not realize how many skin issues come along with being in menopause. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. I didn't realize how many skin issues came along with that. I developed eczema in my 40s, and what is the other one? Psoriasis is horrible. I am grateful that I don't deal with psoriasis. I do have eczema, and it's like on the top of my foot or on the back of my ankle. Being in the sun definitely helps. I have it's hot down here, so I have aloe growing in my backyard. I just have a couple of pots of with aloe in it, and so I just cut one off and keep it in my bathroom, and I put it on my face, just straight off the out the flower pot. I put it on my face. I put it on my shin and my top of my foot where the eczema is. Aloe is very like a magical fruit, and it's natural. So for the skin issues that come along with menopause and perimenopause, aloe is a great thing to have on hand. If you can't grow it like where you live, they definitely have it in the grocery store. It's like maybe $1 or something for a huge aloe plant, and I just cut straight off the plant and use it, where I need it. So yeah, y'all. Menopause is an ugly monster, and it's cool to have a place to talk about it, because people think hot flashes is funny. They're not funny. It's like you swallowed a mini volcano. Yes, and aloe is like I said, it's like a magical fruit. I love like having it on hand. Um, yes, wounds, burns. There's a lot of things, like I said, that you can get out of nature that definitely will help you get through it. Because I'm somebody who doesn't like to take medicine. The biggest health issue I'm having is, my allergies. I'm hoping I don't have to get surgery in my lymph nodes, just because they get very clogged up, and right now I'm able to manage it with just the tea. So yeah, y'all. We still cute though. Relax. We can still handle, the day to day. Um, if you got a man to deal with, I'm sorry for your luck. They're just a distraction. John Tony just proved it, coming over here talking about orgasms and things, and we talking about buzzing ears and hot flashes. But we love having you here, Ja. Um, On to some good news. History made at Spell History made at Spelman as four Black women graduate as co-valedictorians with perfect 4.0 GPAs. That's amazing. Love that. Um, History was made at Spelman College as four remarkable women earned the institution's highest academic honor together. Maya Blasingame, Amaya Calhoun, Sidney Dupree, and Chandler Nuttall graduated as co-valedictorians of the class of 2023, each achieving a perfect 4.0 GPA. Well, 2023, but still. The accomplishments marked only the fourth time in the college's history that multiple graduates shared a prestigious title. Although they pursued different fields of study, they all reached the same standard of academic excellence through hard work, discipline, and determination. Their achievement is a powerful reminder that success comes in many forms, but excellence is always built on dedication. Their inspiring journey reflects the legacy of Spelman College and serves as motivation for future generations of students to dream big and strive with greatness. I feel like there should be a group, you know what I mean, for valedictorian, and instead of just focusing on the one person, especially if they're all receiving 4.0. That's great. You know what I'm saying? And it's a competitive situation. I know, there's a lot of times more than one person. Four is definitely a lot. And I feel like there could be more, you know what I mean, depending on the size of the graduating class. So normally you get your two, your valedictorian and your salutatorian, but I think it should be a group like of how many people um receive those high academic honors at at college level. That's amazing. I'd love to know what they went on to do, and their contribution to the culture, because that's very important. The culture is under attack, as it always is, and we need as much brain power as possible. Beautiful girls. I love to hear it. Spelman is not easy either. As a new member of the Crunch Fitness family, I was happy to hear this. Howard University alum and Harvard Law graduate Shaquan 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 Lewis appointed CEO of Crunch Fitness. That's awesome. Um, Shaquan Lewis has been named the new CEO of Fitness, marking a major leadership move for one of the fastest growing fitness brands in the world. Crunch announced that Lewis will take over the chief executive officer effective immediately, while former CEO Jim Rowley will transition into the role of executive chairman. The company said the move was announced during its 2026 Global Franchise Convention in San Antonio. Lewis joined Crunch in 2024 as president after previously serving as operating officer of Pizza Hut US and the company's first chief equity officer. He is a graduate of Howard University and Harvard Law School. Nice. He also worked as a business litigator earlier in his career. As CEO, Lewis will oversee day to day operations, branding, marketing, member experience, and long term growth strategy. Crunch says the company has grown into a $1.5 billion system wide enterprise with more than 550 locations and 3.5 million members worldwide. Lewis's appointment adds another major corporate leadership role to the resume of Howard University alum, placing him at the top of a global fitness franchise as Crunch continues to expand its footprint. I'm going to say, now for me, it's just been 2 weeks. He goes by Shay at work. Quan. Can somebody go find Quan? Why did his mother do that? We be doing the most. We had that conversation the other day. It's only been 2 weeks. Crunch Fitness and the relationship, my new relationship with Crunch Fitness. Um, there are quite a few Black people working there, and I was impressed by that. It's a really nice facility. I've been a member before at LA Fitness. I've been a member before at Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is not bad. It's cheap, but you know what I'm saying? That's why you go there, because you're not strapped into a membership. Crunch, I did have a go ahead and get a membership. It's not crazy expensive. It's $30 a month for the premium package, but I share it with my daughters. And if you have somebody in your household that you want to share the membership with, it could be more economical. But I do see quite a few Black people as members in there, and I see quite a few Black people as employees in there. That always means makes a difference for me. It makes me feel more comfortable. I see mostly Latina and Black people, in employment over there. And like I said, the facility is so nice. There's a lot. They offer a lot. It's definitely worth the money. And I did not know that the CEO was Black, but that definitely, that's a huge thing. Crunch is, I think, growing. And as long as we have people of color up at the top, then people of color will, be throughout the company. Um, y'all are talking about the young ladies with the valedictorian. You said it's the sisters saving our educational and economic butts as usual. I'm glad you appreciate that, Ja. This young man knows, he's a member of the man team and he's over here doing big things with Crunch. So I thought that was cool because, for to me, having gym memberships are a luxury. It's not something, in this economy, it's cool to be able to do something extra and taking care of yourself. We were just talking about, all of the devil that go along with menopause. I feel like exercise is a big deal. We need to stay moving. We need to stay moving. That's for darn sure. And watch what we eat. That's for not just older people. That's for young people too. They tell you when you're young, you're going to regret that, but don't nobody want to hear that because we're young, wild, and free. But then when we get over here with hot flashes and things, all of a sudden we want a good salad with a sweet potato. The people are watching, as usual, the people are watching. So this is scary. It says California woman pleads guilty to spying on ex-husband and his family through Ring cameras inside his home. What? Prosecutors say she streamed more than 700 hours of footage, including sensitive conversations and moments they were undressed. That's fucking weird. People are... Wow, a California woman pleaded guilty after prosecutors said she used her ex-husband's Ring camera to spy on him and his new family inside their home. According to reports, Raina Bell pleaded guilty to misdemeanor charge of eavesdropping and using electronic device. As part of a plea agreement, she was sentenced to 1 day in custody with credit for time served. I don't know about that. I feel like she might have needed to sit there with a timeout. That's a crazy behavior. 1 year of probation and must also pay restitution to the victims. I feel like they got victimized again. Unless she sat in jail for a while. Prosecutors say Bell live streamed more than 700 hours of footage from Ring cameras inside the home. The recordings captured sensitive medical and financial conversations, along with moments when the family members were undressed. The family said they first realized something was wrong after hearing a voice coming from one of the cameras they had installed in their home. They later discovered more than a dozen video clips that allegedly contained Bell's voice. The ordeal forced the family to move and replace their Ring cameras, but they said it has been almost impossible to restore peace and privacy in their home. That's why I said I don't want no camera inside the damn house, because...
Chills. She hears a voice and realizes she's being watched.
I looked up and the blue light was on and the camera was rolling.
She took the camera down, but it was the start of a criminal case against her fiance's ex-wife.
It was his ex-wife's voice. It was her voice.
At first, the ex-wife, Raina Bell, denied the accusations, referring to them as a smear campaign. But more than a year after it all began, Bell has changed her plea to guilty.
Relieved. Absolutely relieved, because we've been trying to convince everyone, of the truth. And now we no longer have to do that. She admitted it herself.
Prosecutors say Bell live streamed more than 700 hours from her ex-husband's Ring cameras inside his home in Rancho Penasquitos, including private medical and financial conversations and moments when the family was undressed. Young says more than a dozen clips have Bell's voice on them, like this one.
I'm trying to see what these... We tried so hard to try to restore the peace, the security, the privacy. Once you are robbed of that, it's almost impossible to try to restore that in your home.
Now, Young says it's forced her family to move, replace all their home security cameras, and even then, it's hard to feel completely safe.
You're always going to feel like they can do it again. Or if they had the opportunity, they would do it again.
Court paperwork shows Bell pleaded guilty to a downgraded misdemeanor charge, admitting to eavesdropping using an electronic device. She'll have to pay restitution and was ordered to 1 day in custody with credit for time served. This moment still gives Acacia Young.
I mean, I'm hoping she was sitting in jail the whole time waiting on her court date. Yeah, she crazy. The wild thing about this is, well, you said with the advances in technology, more people than we know are doing it. Not in my house because there ain't no cameras in here. I got the camera for the outside, not for the inside. They should have reprogrammed the device though the X should have moved on. I'm wondering, like, how did she get the information? Hi, Vibe. We on the same page. I'm like, how did she do that? Did she hack it? Hey, Kiwan, did she hack it? Or I mean, they're giving little information in terms of that, but I thought like that's the ex-wife, which is creepy as hell. But what if it's like your crazy neighbor or something? Like who? Why is it so easy to get access to these people's, security cameras? You're supposed to be securing the inside of your house. You know what I'm saying? But again, I always will feel like somebody besides me is watching too, because the cameras that I have outside, I can like most of them. If I'm at work, my daughter has been standing outside with the dog, and I'm like, "Hey, girl," so I'm talking to her, through the camera. I miss the old days when you could beat someone down. Oh, the good old days. That should be on the list. I feel like that wife should have been able to at least give her a good slap. Like, can I just slap the shit out of Ramon good 2-3 times? You said there's a way if you have an email, which she did have. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Mine is attached to my email. But he need to change his damn passwords, child. Don't use his passwords. I feel like they're hackable. Obviously she had information, but girl, what is going on in your life? 700 hours, you just sitting around watching the people walk around their house. And I feel like for the most part, in most people's houses, unless, they have an argument or they got other, things going on within their house, which if they are, they probably don't have cameras on it. But that's a lot of boring shit. If you just have the camera on in our house, you're not gonna see a whole lot. It's the same thing every day until till the folks start arguing with one another. And I mean that goes on in any house with anybody that's in a relationship. We leave ourselves vulnerable to surveillance because of our use of devices that we can easily be hacked into. Yeah. You're right, because at this point, the phones is the devil. The phones are the absolute devil. They checking in on everything. They decided like that thing, that passkey thing. You want me to let you decide what my password is? Passkey. Okay. I think passkey is useful for some things maybe, but no, I would like to be in control. Thank you. I had to use my daughter's bank card this morning, and I asked her what's her password. She came up with some random number. I was like, "What did you do? Where you get?" That's probably best because we use numbers. I use numbers that I can remember, but she came up with something, that's not attached to anybody in this household. You said she probably watched them doing a grown-up. Ew, yeah, she did. He knew she was crazy. That's why they're not together. You blame him? I mean, I don't know. At the very least, he should have done something different with the passwords. That's wild to be that. Like, you waste your life being that, like, spending that kind of time watching somebody else live their life and you not living yours. Just stupid. Move the hell on. I don't know how those types of brains work. Don't use the same email for everything. Switch it up. Definitely don't have cameras inside the home. I don't, but a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I feel like people have had their homes broken into and the people were caught because they had cameras in the home. But maybe you don't need them like, she's still been able to listen to conversations though. It's a lot. You said I hate find my app with a passion. I mean, I use that. Why do you hate it? Tell me more. I use it, because me and my kids, location each other. We saw where a person turned off the TV and saw a person watching her. That's wild. And when the person was probably some weirdo from somewhere, not like your ex-wife or your ex-husband, which is, I wanted to ask, you know what I'm saying? You have voluntarily shared information with them. There's that. But if it's her ex-husband, she probably know his social security number, his all the things. You know what I'm saying? All the things. Like me and my partner had passwords that were shared as far as bank cards and stuff. If you use Google, Alexis, etc., somebody is always listening to you and watching you to respond to your request for information and for your devices or appliances to be used. Google is the damn devil. Google, Instagram, all of that. Google has a chokehold on the world at this point. But where do we go from here, child? I'll tell you. Down to the bar where the Honda cars be. Shout out to Funky Dineva. No, but more surveillance. So this is a new thing for you young ladies outside in these streets. Spin that shit. Spin that shit. Woman says man secretly recorded her in a bar using meta glasses, sparking debate about privacy and consent. A viral social media post is reigning it's reigniting, child. A viral social media post is reigniting conversations about privacy and wearable technology after a woman claimed she was secretly recorded by a stranger using Meta smart glasses during a night out. According to the woman, she was at a bar when a man approached her and asked what she thought about police officers. What? She says she didn't realize he was recording the conversation through his meta glasses, explaining that she never noticed the recording indicator, which she believes may have been difficult to see because of the bar lighting. She alleges a friend eventually noticed what was happening and alerted her. After confronting the man, the woman says she asked him to delete the footage but claims he refused. In a post, she wrote that the experience ruined her night, not because she was recorded sharing her opinion, but because she believes intoxicated women are being approached and filmed without their knowledge or consent. Well, don't get out here in these streets and, lose control of yourself. Men are approaching intoxicated women in bars and filming them when they are incapable of expressing consent, she wrote. Well, you and the public, child. That's all I can say about that. The post has since sparked widespread debate online, with many questioning whether wearable cameras like Meta's smart glasses need stronger safeguards or clearer recording indicators. Others note that recording laws vary by state and that filming people in public places, including bars open to public, may be legal in some circumstances, though consent requirements can differ depending on the jurisdiction and whether audio is being recorded. That's my thing. It's one thing to have somebody, with the camera, but the recording of the voice is something different. You said because it tracks your location, you missed the days when it could be somewhere without anyone knowing. I feel like my privacy has been violated. Did turn off your location, girl. If you don't want somebody to know where you at, turn location off. We use ours so we can have each other's location, me and my girls. You said you remember the Saw Yourself girl on TV. I never heard about that. We could choose to go without our devices. Do we need our phones, though, I suppose? Google has info on where you go. Yeah, Google, we know to go to Africa. Google doing too much. Alexa, I don't have any of that, but at this point, we are under surveillance 24/7 for the most part. And if you have cameras in your house, then you are under surveillance inside there too. Um, Google has info on where you go, what you do, what you eat, how many miles you walk, your your blood pressure, your credit. That is hilarious. I will say, when you order groceries, like I've ordered groceries from Walmart, and then they'll be like, "Did you forget this?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't forget this. I don't need you to recreate the grocery list that I had last time." Like they have your grocery list on memory. They know what type of products you use. Um, when I do get reprimanded to keep my phone on me, yes, girl, where are you at? Bring your phone in case I need to reach you. What do you guys think about, these glasses that the young men are using out in the club? First of all, if you're a man, if I'm out having a good time with my girls, having few cocktails, and you ask me what do I feel about the police, conversation over. We don't have nothing else to talk about. I don't even know what kind of question is that even? You said, I remember when cell phones came out and you really held on to getting one, did you? Child, I had all the way back to that big old gray flip phone. And, I was out here with a few burner phones, but that's in a different life at a different time. Them burner phones get on my damn nerves though. I knew a guy that I worked in the club, so I knew a guy that did the phones, got the phones together. All you needed was the phone. If you are record me without consent, I should have the right to clock you. We want to go back to slap a hoe, high vibe. That's where we at. Young women need to be cautious in these clubs anyway. More so now than ever because there's so many, people out there. We went together as girls. We bought each other drinks, you know what I'm saying? Even back in the day, I never had anybody bring me a drink. You know what I'm saying? He would have to be in cahoots with the bartender. If he was buying drinks for me and my girls, we're standing at the bar and he's like, "What do you want? What do you want?" So you can see what's going on. This is weird though. If you're in the club with I haven't seen the meta glasses, but I feel like they're for weird uses only anyway. Unless you're doing something like, the lady walking with the bear. It might be useful in terms of safety, but being in a club is not a safe space. Y'all, I don't know. I don't be outside like that anymore, but I guess you ladies gonna have to figure out, a counter to whatever it is they got going on. You said the world has become a weird excuse to watch you. That's hilarious. Oh. You said, I know several people who have purchased those glasses because they're used as phone cameras and everything that cell phone does. They can definitely be used to record and do sinister stuff. Yeah. I mean, I guess phones do too, but I have clients who are in the salon and their phone is on the counter. We're in the shampoo bowl. They're like speaking into their Apple Watch, and I'm like, for me, that's just one more thing to carry around. Thing 2, thing 3, the Apple Watch is not an attractive watch. So for all y'all Apple Watch wearers, I'm sorry, your watch is ugly. You said you love we can throw rocks. Y'all are so funny. Yeah, be careful out there, ladies. Men in Black did tell us. They said it. You said you brought your son meta glasses, but it's for football footage. That's what you're supposed to do with it. I think. Like I said, even if you're going on walks, I'm not I wouldn't mind taking it on a walk. I don't really wear my glasses when I'm walking. But like if you're doing stuff like, sightseeing and you looking bird watching or whatever it is, like I said, that lady with the bear, I know she had to have some glasses on. Ain't nowhere in the world she was holding her dog back and fighting with the bear at the same damn time. You got your watch for free. It's still ugly if you wear it. If you're wearing it to track your steps, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like, it's not like an attractive watch. That's all I'm saying. So if they want to work on something, make that thing look like them Swatch watches or whatever. I don't need another thing to carry because it's gonna get left somewhere, to be honest. Um, I feel like all the electronics that we have, the laptops, the computers, the phones, the glasses, the watches, all the things that we have, um, they have their positives for sure. We probably could be so frustrated trying to go back to the way life was without it. Um, yeah, there's just so many real conveniences. We can do all of our banking, transferring money from one place to another. We can do all of these things. Um, it's for our convenience. However, there's always the evil side to every, good thing. That's what it, good versus evil. That's how we got here. That's what the people said. Um, be careful. And if somebody asks you something about some damn police, that's a conversation I'm not interested in having. What you said it does look like a Swatch watch. Well, that's better, but the ones I've seen are kind of clunky and big. We yeah, you young ladies are just gonna have to be careful out there. That's a weird line of a questioning. You asking me about the uh daggone police. We in the club. What do I think about the police? I feel like you might just be the police. Conversation over. And I don't like people that wear sunglasses in the daytime. So speaking of tracking, ICE tracked a woman down to demand she delete an Instagram post. This ICE ain't got shit to do but harass American citizens. Um, ICE agents are continuing to target Americans for their social media posts. This week, Paige Lynn Goynia was tracked down by ICE in New York and told to delete social media posts she'd made about Jonathan Ross following the red rum of Renee Good. The post was a news article that identified Ross as the red rummer, which Gonya captioned, I think today is a great day for Jonathan to be indicted. I mean, that's very not problematic as far as I'm saying. This anyway, you can now get a visit from federal agents because you spoke out against the government online. Um First comment, forgot to mention that they showed up to question her while she was working at a polling station. Incredibly inappropriate. Yeah, I did see that. She was at a polling station. I didn't realize it was the same one until I read that comment. So she was working at a polling station and I showed up and you could hear the lady recording in the background going, "Don't sign that, don't sign anything." So this is ICE's job to show up at places. I mean, I probably wouldn't have answered that question. I wouldn't have answered any questions for them. And then they want you to delete it. What? Since when is that illegal? I don't know. I don't know. She was a white woman. So, I mean, she should have been, pull your panties up and go ahead and stand on business. Um, I generally don't post that type of stuff online, but I feel like we discuss things over here that may or may not be problematic based on, this is definitely intimidation, voter intimidation. So now they got ICE down there questioning this lady about, her social media posts. There's no freedom of speech as long as 47 is in office. I would agree. And if you're gonna run to Facebook or whatever to say what you got to say, probably don't. I repost a lot of things and follow up with hope this don't get me in trouble. Um, I got my birth certificate, so I don't know that that helps. It feels like this. We read these stories and we think that it's us, it's them, and that it's not us. So, Afghan women have officially lost all their rights to live freely. Under Sharia law governed by the Taliban, women are prohibited from speaking, singing, or otherwise being heard in public spaces. This is freaking wild. Women are strictly prohibited from entering public parks, gyms, beauty salons, sports clubs, national parks, amusement parks, and any other recreational spaces. Women have been removed from government and political life and are banned from most jobs. They may no longer attend university or study past the sixth grade. Under the current Taliban regime, there is no longer a fixed minimum marriage age for girls. Eligibility is now linked to the most onset of puberty, which can be as young as 9 years old. Women's shelters and many protections for victims of domestic violence were dismantled. Afghan women have little to no legal protection from domestic violence under the Taliban Sharia law. Afghan women face strict restrictions on leaving home or going outside without a male guardian, known as a mahram. Women must cover their faces in public. Women also barred from traveling abroad without a legitimate reason and a male custodian. That's fucking wild. A lack of female health workers combined with bans on women studying or working in medicine means that many women cannot be treated, as they are prohibited from seeing male doctors. Under Sahari law, I think I'm saying that right, women are not allowed to drive. Books authored by women have been stripped from library and bookstore shelves. So, and I'm reading this because even though this is Afghan, it seems like that this country is leaning very heavily towards that type of lifestyle. Now, I don't know what it is they expect women to do besides just breed, I guess. That's crazy. And I have dealt with situations where women have come into the salon and they can't have their hair uncovered. And if there are any men in here, obviously there's men. That doesn't matter, gay, straight, doesn't matter. They cannot have their hair exposed in front of men. So even though, like I said, it sounds like a world away from where we at, it also feels like the world we're in is moving too damn fast in that direction in terms of what's legal and what's not. If ICE can come, approach you at your job about a social media post, it seems like to me they're going in that direction. When there's files, Epstein, well, we've heard in the last year, Epstein, there's files out there with, evidence of the same thing going on, like states that are trying to remove the legal age of marriage, and it seems all too similar to me. Thank God I'm on the menopausal stand. You said sounds like the white religious nationalists, what is it, the Christian nationalists? Yeah. But I mean, damn, they just don't want, like, what? So what is life like? You know what I'm saying? You're 9 years old and some nasty old man comes and takes you and, forces you into motherhood, and then you get no rights whatsoever. May they give birth to sons from here on out. What are y'all going to do then when there's no women left? Because that's how you, geez, oh, Pete. That's MAGA's objective for women in this country. It feels like it. They're working to take away our voting rights, reproductive rights, employment rights, and basic civil rights. It sounds wild when you read it and you're saying this is Afghanistan, but it sounds, way too similar to what's happening over here. God bless this next generation. Hopefully, they can make some change and try to fix it. Maybe the brainwashing is not gone that deep. So here's where it starts. This is, part of the whole program. Ohio lawmakers passed a bill requiring schools to teach kids to get married before having kids. Ohio lawmakers have passed a bill that will require schools to teach students what supporters call the success sequence, a life plan that says young people are less likely to live in poverty if they graduate high school, get a job, and get married before having children. Or don't get married and go follow careers, That's not the plan. The measure was added to Ohio Senate Bill 276, which originally dealt with the compact for school psychologists. After changes in Ohio House, the bill passed 58 to 36. Ain't that where J.D. Vance is from? And the Senate later agreed the changes before lawmakers left for summer break. Under the bill, Ohio's Department of Education and Workforce would be required to create a list of curriculum materials for grades 6 through 12. The lesson would teach that following the sequence of finishing school, working full-time, and marrying before having children is connected to lower poverty rates. Supporters say the proposal gives students practical information about family planning. Not what do they want sex education in the schools or not? This is about family planning. Is that different? Work and long-term financial stability. Republican Rep. Sarah Fowler, author, said young people are statistically far less likely to live in poverty when they complete school, work full-time, and marry before having children. What kind of genius came up with this? This is common sense. Is this something that really need to make into, why is this carried into the school curriculum? That's all I'm wondering. Critics argue the bill oversimplifies poverty and puts too much responsibility on students instead of addressing wages, housing, child care, abuse, health care, and other real-life barriers. Democratic Rep. Beryl Brown Piccolanio criticized the idea as confusing correlation with causation, while Representative Sean Brennan has said the message ignores families whose lives do not follow one narrow path. The idea is part of a broader national push in conservative-led states to teach the success sequence in school. Similar bills have been discussed over advanced in-state, including Tennessee, Utah, Kentucky, and Mississippi. This is a waste of taxpayers' money and time. I'm sure that a lot of people's plan. I mean, how do you teach this? You know what I'm saying? Is abstinence? Like, how do you teach this in school? Because, yeah, duh. They over here having whole conversations about this. It sounds like they're setting up arranged marriages, or discouraging women from following a career path. You know what I'm saying? What does marriage have to do with anything? 1 and 1 equals 2. That makes sense. Like, obviously, if you're married, or, I don't know, like, financial stability definitely should be at the top of the list. And who marries who? Like, what if you're gay? What if you have a same-sex partner? Then you don't have to worry about having kids, then, do you necessarily? I don't know. I feel like you can't teach, you can't, you don't, that's taboo. That bill was probably not introduced by a Republican. They've already defunded basic education. I know they don't want to pay for that. Well, it says Republican, I think. Didn't it say Republican? I do. Oop, and I'm touching everything. I don't know why we're teaching this. It says Ohio lawmakers and the success sequence. That definitely sounds like Republican speak. The success sequence. Um, it doesn't say who brought it, but they did say. Okay, here it goes. Republican Sarah Fowler. I guess this is just her point or her opinion on this on the subject. All I'm saying is, it seems like a waste of time. Look, can we teach the kids how to read, for God's sakes? Can we worry about who they get married to or how many babies they have? And then, abortion is off the table. I mean, you believe what you want to believe, but the women's rights, to choose is off the table. So we just go teach, get married? Before we force marriage on children, let's get them counseling service to heal them from the poverty. And that's what they were saying. One of the Democratic representatives was saying, like, y'all trying to avoid talking about the issues at hand. You said counseling services to heal them from the poverty they're being raised in, and give them services to assist with job skills or entrepreneurial pathway. Agree. Let's take marriage off the table. Why are we even discussing that? They're trying to put Bible principles back in the schools and take drag queens out. Oh, Jatoni. I'm going to just leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I feel like lawmakers are avoiding what really needs. Can we talk about health care? I don't normally talk about Drake, but he's over here maybe threatening someone. That's according to this girl, reality star. I don't know her. I don't know what show she came from. Reality star Sway Brooks is opening up about her past with Drake, claiming their brief romance ended with fear, confusion, and alleged threatening messages. The Calabasas Confidential star, never heard of Calabasas Confidential. The Calabasas Confidential star, 25, reflecting on meeting Drake during a Sunday, June 28th appearance on Bunny XO's Dumb Blonde. I don't know any of these people. Podcast. Brooks said the two first crossed paths on the friend's boat in Saint-Tropez, where her friend's father had hired Drake to perform at a party. Well, they did say Calabasas, child. Drake's old ass over here doing parties. She 28, so she grown. It was amazing. He's such a great guy, she said. Brooks says she and Drake, 39, dated on and off a few months, including visits to Toronto before she decided, I'm tired of this. She just got tired of it. She got tired of being flued out. However, Brooks claimed the split left her shaken when we did end things. I was very scared for my safety, she alleged. She claimed the situation stemmed from a miscommunication and alleged she received text saying he's going to have bitches fold me up verbatim. That's what he said. He was going to have some bitches fold her up. Brooks says she stayed inside for months afterward, but still praised Drake, saying he's so talented and I wish him nothing but the best. Drake has not yet responded to these shocking allegations. I hate when people talk out of both sides of their mouth. What the heck is she even talking about? Did he send a message? Possibly. I don't know. Let's see the text. Did it come from Drake? Wait. Y'all said something about let me back up. You said because Ma talks about stealing and y'all are talking about the school situation. I don't want to confuse anyone. You said because Ma talks about not stealing land, which is what the 10 Commandments ignore. Oh, you talking to Jatoni. I'm not going to get myself confused trying to keep up with that one. How do you know your biology teacher wasn't a drag queen at night? He don't know. He doesn't know. And can the teacher teach biology? That's all I care about. I really don't care what the drag queens was doing. Um, yeah. So Drake is over here, maybe or maybe not threatening this lady. I don't know what Drake is doing. I think Miss Brooks is this is dangerous for her to be coming out like I'm not a Drake fan, but I think it's dangerous for her to be coming out with these stories saying she was afraid for her life. You know what I mean? I've heard a lot of things about Drake. I never heard that. But Miss Brooks, show us the text or get the hell out of here with this, nonsense. Chris Brown. Chris Brown has been ordered to pay $13 million after a jury found him liable in the civil lawsuit filed by his former housekeeper who was severely mauled by one of his dogs at his Los Angeles home in 2020. Wow, it's taken her all this time to get her money. The attack left the woman with permanent and facial disfigurement and other lasting injuries. According to court testimony, the housekeeper Maria Avila was taking out the trash when Brown's Caucasian shepherd dog Hades allegedly attacked her without warning. She claims the dog bit her face, arms, and foot, leaving her covered in blood and requiring emergency surgery. Avila has said she continued to suffer from permanent scarring, nerve damage, and vision based on, look at her face chewed up, vision issues as a result of the attack. During the trial, Avila alleged that Brown came outside while she was lying injured in the driveway, but left the scene instead of calling 911. What the frick? Brown testified that he checked to see if she was breathing, secured the dog, and relied on members of his security team to handle the emergency before leaving after he was told the first responders were on the way. The lawsuit originally sought $90 million in damages. After hearing the evidence, the jury ultimately awarded Avila $13 million. The verdict comes after a previous trial ended in a mistrial due to juror misconduct before the case was retried. I think that's fair. I think 90 million is a lot, but you're supposed to go for the gusto. Go get whatever it is you want to get. You know what I mean? You think you should get. And then, I think that's fair. You said, did she show the results? If it's true, why hasn't she filed charges against him? Oh, you talking about the girl with Drake. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't come out here with no story. And like I said, I am not a Drake fan at all. But you're coming out here publicly saying that this man, like, said, what brought that on? The whole story, like, I was going out back and forth to Canada until I just got tired of this. You just got tired of Drake. And then you came up with this story. So why did he say that? What was the context? She putting out this story and got me over here defending Drake. And now I don't like that. Chris Brown is another chump. I think this says a lot about Chris Brown. We already knew he was, problematic. But if my dog attacks someone, God forbid, I don't know what kind of a Caucasian shepherd or whatever he got. My dog is a pit bull. There's already, bad reputation there. But he put the dog away, he said, and I heard this before. He put the dog away and then he left, talking about y'all handle it. And I heard somewhere that he said he didn't want to call 911. This lady's face is chewed off because your dog, clearly he's aggressive. The dog just came after her. She taking out the trash. So yeah, Chris Brown, $13 million, pay the lady. That's all you can say. And she deserves every bit of it. At the end of the day, like, can you imagine the trauma attached to being attacked by a dog? She gonna carry that with her forever, plus the scars, the physical scars. He chewed her face up. You can't even, they gotta blur out the daggone picture. So yeah, Chris, do better. Y'all having these dogs and don't even be around. Like, who's actually taking care of his dogs? Because he about to be gone for a long time. The tour has started. And I saw yesterday they added Mario to the tour. So I guess y'all be out here. I'll be following on TikTok and see what Chris is doing. But yeah, I think that's fair. Pay the lady. So Tyra's not out here on her own. America's Top Model winner Eva Marcille sides with Tyra. Is siding with Tyra Banks in her lawsuit against Netflix. Is she? Eva was interviewed in an airport. Was that really an interview, or did y'all like run up on her at the airport? Eva Marcille was interviewed in an airport about her thoughts on the situation with Tyra Banks suing Netflix for defamation in the Netflix documentary.
Tyra is suing Netflix over this documentary. I know you had reacted to it. You were shocked by the whole thing. What are your thoughts on her suing them, basically for being over edited, which was the complaint? Even Adrian Curry came out saying, like, that's why we were mad. Why are you mad?
Get your money, black woman. Do your thing. That's how I feel. I'm Tyra fan, stan. She put me on. So
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Everyone's experience wasn't the same.
Do what you got to do. I mean, God has been good to me. Tyra's been great to me. So we'll see.
Do you think she'll have? I mean, she's Tyra Banks.
She's a winner. Winners win.
Winners win.
Winners
So
win.
you're expecting nothing less from the outcome
I
of this
expect
for her?
nothing from greatness from her. God has his hand on Tyra, so whatever's going to be is going to be beautiful.
Any message to the girls, involved that were?
Keep your head up, y'all. We got this.
Tyra is suing Netflix over this documentary.
That was so insensitive, first of all. That was super insensitive. Keep your head up, y'all. We got this. First of all, what's wrong with Eva's face? You said the tour must be suffering to add Mario. I guess he was like an opener, and then he got added to the tour. You gonna go back to these comments right quick. Chris sometimes acts like a rabid dog who needs to be put down. Whoa. I mean, I agree, High Vibe. Wrong road, Eva. This is so insensitive to her. I think it would have just been so much better for her to say, my experience was not the same as, some of these other people. However, Tyra has, I've only had positive experiences with Tyra. Eva, if you watch that and watch that documentary, and I feel like you've seen it because everybody was talking about it, and you come out with "Get Your Money, Black Woman." Tyra is. I'm disappointed in Eva, and I don't know what's wrong with her face. But I also feel like the editing from Top Model was the whole issue. The whole issue that was going on with those girls was how they were treated and how they were edited. And now, I don't feel like Tyra was edited any kind of way. She was full on. If you sat there for 3 hours, you thought this was going to be something, what did you think it was going to be? And the questions that they asked, like, you answered them the way you answered them. I don't know. It would be one thing if they, switched around or made her look some type of way with the way she answered the questions. But I feel like it was a whole lot that she said, because she said she was there for 3 hours, that she thought she was doing her big one. And they didn't take all that. They took the snippets out. But the documentary was not about Tyra. It was about the victims. And so I hope she don't get no money. I think these people have suffered enough. And I don't think Netflix owes Tyra anything for saying, for playing, exactly what she said. She said it came out of her mouth. Tyra, go sit down. I'm so disappointed that she's going to be part of Project Runway this season. I mean, will ignore anything that she says, to be honest. Her cheekbones and those giant teeth are horrible. She already got a little bitty head. I told you she looked like one of them things from I Am, what is it? That movie with Will Smith? Them night creatures that came out and they had to hide from him. You said wasn't even the first winner. No, she was the third winner. She was the third winner. I think she was the first black one. They had two white girls at first, and neither one of them have anything good to say. The only two that I know of that aren't really, speaking up is her and Takara. So for whatever reason, they still support Tyra. But her and Takara have successful careers, and I don't think that was based maybe on the exposure of being on Top Model. Yaya has been very politically correct in the way she has answered, her questions. But again, she's another one that came out successful and weren't necessarily treated the same way to that extent. Maybe things changed after her season. No. I think it just depends on who you talk to. Isn't her husband in politics? He was in politics. Get your money, black woman. That's such a stupid ass response. I love how they call it an interview. Tyra is bringing a bad look to Project Runway. They know what it is. They brought her over there. And so, yeah, before the season even starts, which is next week. Next week is Project Runway. And thankfully, she'll only be like a guest judge instead of, every week. You said, I think her features may appear to be more distorted because of her short haircut. She always had the short haircut, though. It's because of them teeth. I don't know why these people in Hollywood keep running out and get them ugly ass teeth. I don't even know. Like, she was already beautiful. When you talk about being insecure in these places in Hollywood, she was already beautiful. She didn't have to do nothing to her face. And here she go, getting these big ugly ass teeth and whatever her cheekbones is doing. She got them Jada Pinkett cheekbones. And she also got really, really skinny at one time. She got sunken eyes. It is giving heroin chic, Jatoni. I'm not even gonna lie. Like back in the day when the models was looking like they was high off of something. Yeah. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but she's pro Tyra and she's allowed to be pro Tyra, child. But I feel like that's, like you said, that just wasn't a good look. So love is in the air. Love is in the air. The actor, what does it say? Jussie Smollett has a new man in his life. The actor is now dating Queer Eye star Karamo Brown. According to TMZ, the outlet captured the pair during an all-day outing in Los Angeles Monday that included lunch with Karamo's mom, running errands. Damn, y'all followed them all over the day? And a hike through Runyon Canyon, complete with a visible PDA. This was their debut. They know what they was doing. The budding romance comes just weeks after Smollett's amicable split from former fiance Jabari Red, whom he'd been with for nearly 3 years before the two called off the engagement. First comment. Now, wait a minute. This is going to end so messy. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, if this ain't some mess right here, child, Jussie needs a timeout. To go to Africa. I'm curious about how Tyra and La Roche will get along. I'm sure they know each other. I don't know. So there will be a lot of, I think La Roche will probably encourage bad behavior from Tyra, but we'll see. Jussie was just engaged to some other man. I'm questioning, like, Tyra, what's his name? I've always thought Karamo was messy too. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drama will be good when it comes out. I feel like this is the reality show we need right here. This is what I'm talking about. Karamo is, Jesse is an actor. Karamo is a reality star. And, he coming out of, Karamo got introduced by MTV back in the day. He was a real world kid. And then he was over there with Carlos and Claudia. This is the show. Y'all, get the films rolling right now. We had a day out here. We met the mama. Was anybody recording that? We could go back and re-record like lunch with the mama. We want to go on hikes with them. We want to go shopping with them. I want to see this romance on reality. Ja. Somebody slap his hand. This is what I want. We need a new reality show. This is drama. I'm with Lotus Egyptian Flower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's hit it. Yeah. Let's see what's up over here. I saw Jesse down the Gay Pride singing terribly. Now, when he was over there on Empire, we was jamming to Jesse's little songs that he had going on, but when he was over there in live and he was doing the bankhead bounce and stuff, he sounded terrible down to the Pride, whatever city they was in, LA, maybe. Juicy Smollett. Juicy Smollett is using this to get back into the atmosphere. I'm with it. Like, let's do a reality show. I'm with it. Enough time has gone past. We're going to pretend like he didn't go down in that 0 degrees weather, below degree weather, and, create that foolishness that he had us over here questioning from day one. From day one. Raise your hand if you believe this story that Jesse Smollett came with from the very beginning. I know I was like, wait, now what happened in Chicago? Well, what had happened? We need this drama. Thank you, Lotus Egyptian Flower. We need this drama. I think this will be entertaining. I think, let's do it. Who do we need to call? Carlos? Everybody, hit up Carlos. These are his friends. Hit up Carlos and tell the Kang this is the reality show that we want. I don't know who is can it go on? I don't know if it could go on. I don't know what channel we could put it on. We'll worry about those small details later. But as for me, I'm here for it. It was definitely suspect. Jesse Smollett, wasn't nobody out here talking about, is you the guy from that? That's the biggest lie right there. That's what had me. The clans, the people from the KKK, the MAGA boys, was watching Empire? No, we knew better than that. No, Carlos. Well, then who? Who should produce it? Mona Scott? We need some of our, messy originals. Who else got it out there? It could be a Bravo thing, to be honest. It could definitely, with names like Jesse and Karamo, it could definitely be a Bravo thing. 3 a.m. in Chicago, headed to Subway when it's 20 below. Yeah. And some white KKK MAGA boys recognize him as that guy from the TV show. It sounded like a lie, from the start. Mona and Byron Allen? Okay. We got to get Byron's shit popping. Byron, this might be the thing to get you popping straight off the gate. We got a show for you over here, Byron. Call Mona and let's get it. But I feel like, we could do Mona and Byron. Bravo will take it. Bravo is good for that kind of thing. Be careful because Andy be over there trying to make it a 3-way relationship in private. He like the black boys in the private, and then he, takes the white boys out on the streets. Everybody knew he was lying off top. I question though whether T says she had passed. T and Ja Tony are out. They don't want to see it. I question Karamo, your choice in partners, though. This nigga is a lying ass nigga, Jesse Smollett. So, it just, it makes me question your taste in men, Karamo. That's all I'm saying, because Jesse ain't it. But, if y'all are going to make it a reality show, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Seems like a lot of drama. The good kind, the kind we like. We're going to end on this note. Now, this lady right here, she know better. If you live in Florida or anywhere, I don't know about every state, but I know there's an understanding around here that you just don't do this. And shame on her. 64 years old, and then look at the mess you got yourself in. 64-year-old black woman. Why they say that? Why they say why we looking at her? We don't need to know. How come she couldn't just be a 65-year-old woman? Black millionaires with your title and everything. 65-year-old black woman in Florida charged with 11 felony counts, facing 55 years in prison after being accused of running over and unaliving baby ducklings. What the hell is wrong with her? That's the question thousands of people are asking. What the hell is wrong with her, or just me? Whether you agree or disagree with the allegations, ask yourself, does the potential punishment fit the alleged crime? If you believe justice should be fair, measured, and potential not excessive, take 30 seconds to make your voice heard. Listen, 55 years seems like a long time to me. I will say that, and that's where I'm going to end it. The Arkansas troopers went free when he did it. That's in Arkansas. I said I don't know about other states, but what I do know is here in Florida, ducks and sandhill cranes will stop traffic. You can be moving at full speed. It happens all the time, and a school of ducks will come past in the middle of the street, and everybody stops. It's just what we do. Now, they said this lady, did she not see them? Or, did she intentionally run them over? I don't know. But 11 counts, felony, that's a lot. 55 years in prison. This isn't what she's been charged with. Hopefully, she has some good counsel. I don't know. But what I do know is y'all better be careful out there because, there's gators I saw, and this is in my actual neighborhood. So this was in my community tab. This was in my actual neighborhood where I saw the daggum alligator over at Hungry Howie's. More proof of how they believe that animals are more valuable than the lives of Black people. Oh yeah. And I mean, she been here for 64 years, so she know that firsthand. So she should have known when she tried to run over them ducks that those people was going to try to railroad her. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about before we end. I'm pretty sure I added it. Let me refresh it right quick. So here we go. I'm going to end on this note. Sounds dangerous stopping suddenly for birds. It's what we do, Jatoni. It's what we do. And the sandhill cranes, they're protected by the environment, so you get in big trouble. Now, I have heard not that you go to jail. I've heard that it's a hefty fine attached to it. So I don't know what part of Florida she was in, child. I know that there's hefty fines, a real talk, hefty fines attached to hitting those sandhill cranes. And the ducklings, they just go across. So, you slow down and you let them go across. It's an understanding. I'm sure there's fines attached to it. I didn't know that felony charges were attached to it. And the sandhill cranes, there's a hefty fine attached to it because they're supposedly going extinct. But yeah, we know how they feel about us. We know how they feel about us in terms of being, less important than animals. As far as they're concerned, we are. You know what I mean? So, yeah, be careful out there, y'all. But this was the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get out of here today. Why is Nikki Gilbert always a hater? Nikki Gilbert weighs in on spin that shit, and she doesn't seem to please. This is what she has to say about the whole thing.
And if we out here, and I get it. I get the argument that, well, girl, ain't nobody really finna be out here boosting. That's you with your grown ass who shouldn't be bopping around to that ignorant shit anyway. But to the young, impressionable young women, many of whom I know in my family personally, who have had issues with boosting and stealing and shit, who missed time with their kids, who weren't able to be present as parents because they were locked up for boosting and scamming. And now we got a record that has taken off. When I first heard it, I was like, I ain't even gonna say nothing about this shit because it's gonna go away. Ain't no way in the world this is gonna become like the number one most popular record on the planet. And guess what's done happened? It has become the number one it's debuted on Billboard at number one. People are talking about the possibility of it becoming a Grammy nominated record. I hope as a voting member that we have a say in whether or not that happens. And if we out here, and I get it. I get the argument that, well, girl, ain't nobody really finna be out here boosting. That's you with your grown ass who should be bopping around.
So Nikki Gilbert is a hater, like she always been. There's a couple songs out there. Every now and then there's songs that I can't stand. But you find yourself singing the song. I don't like this song. It's just, it's all over. It's TikTok. It's everywhere. For me, it's a joke to me. I did not know that this song was supposed to be Grammy nominated. But to me, it's an example of, you said you agree with her. I agree that it doesn't deserve a Grammy. I mean, but I don't like the song. But I think it's interesting that, her being a voting member would position herself to, I don't know, interfere in what happens with this song that Young Miami. Like, you haven't heard it? Yeah, you have. To Go to Africa. I've sang it like 6 times this morning. It's on, it's just one of those, like, ignorant songs that it's the Young Miamis, it's the Saucy Santanas and, the Cardi B's and, all the young rappers. I don't know what this song is going up against. And it's hip hop, has gravitated in a place that I no longer fit. Every now and then I hear a song I like. This song isn't something I would ever listen to, but I think it's wild that Nikki Gilbert would equate the boosters in her family that was out here stealing and and being under the influence of this song. That doesn't make any sense. You said, what now? Girl, gas, mortgage, and food is high. Spend that shit. Oh, T. To me, the song is a joke too. Like, I see it as a joke, but I also see the Grammys as a joke. I think, Nikki maybe is expired. You know what I'm saying? It's from a different era, obviously, than Young Miami, but the gatekeepers do stuff like this. Like, what is it exactly? Like, what are the qualifications to get nominated? I didn't know that it was even considered a nomination. I think it's just, like any of the rest of these songs, that TikTok and you see the little videos. It's funny. It's catchy. That song that used to be in my head, and I was like, why do I like this song and hate the world? That SZA gets me every time, talking about Monday, Tuesday, you can have them on the weekend, or whatever that song was. A lot of times songs will have lyrics we hate, but Nikki Gilbert for me is just a hater. So you out here wanting to blame Miami because you got some boosters in your family. Girl, get it together. And a Grammy or no Grammy, I think there's bigger things though for us to be worried about. Anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy Yo Juneteenth Part 2. I will be sporting my green, red, and gold and black. There will be no red, white, and blue over here. Happy Juneteenth Part 2, y'all. Enjoy the weekend. I'll be back on Monday, and be safe out there. Bye, y'all.